Welcome to the Quick Time Event Podcast, episode 117. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, and as always, I am joined by my partner in crime, John.
Hello.
Quick Time Event is a chance for John and I to get together each and every week to talk about all of the nerdy things that we love. If you like what you hear, you can find us live on twitch.tv/CDRMagnus every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, or on all of your favorite podcast services all across the internet shortly after the live show ends. John, we got some recap to go over. We didn't have a podcast last week because my capture card decided to die.
Kicked the bucket. Bit the dust, as they say.
It went bye-bye. So I had to get a new capture card. I did some surgery on my PC, which is the first time I've ever done that before.
Ooh, that sounds scary.
Up until this point, I've been using the, the HD60S, which is an external capture card from Elgato. And I decided to go with a 4K option this time, and I went with now I have the 4K, what is it? What is it called? Not HD, video capture device. It is the 4K 60 Pro is what I have now. Anyway, That's an internal capture card. You seem very busy. Are you busy playing Spacemen, John?
Maybe.
Do you want to join us over here in the podcast? Or are you busy eating spacemen?
You're being pretty sus right now.
Anyway, I have an internal. I had to plug it into my motherboard, which sounds like a really scary thing for those people that have never built a PC before, which I never have. But it was literally you just like plug it into your motherboard and it's good to go. So now I can stream in 4K and like
the word motherboard is so scary.
Yeah, I can stream.
Listen, I am fully attentive now. You have my 100% attention.
Okay.
I got killed.
Gotcha.
And this was a long game. I thought it would be over like 2 minutes ago.
Anyway, this Pro capture card now lets me stream and capture content and stream in 4K. If that ever becomes a thing on Twitch, which at this point, it's like at least 5 to 10 years probably out from where we're at right now. But
so you'll
I
need
can do
a
it.
new entire machine by the time that's ready.
Probably. I think that I could. The only thing that's limiting me from being able to stream that's limiting anybody from being able to stream in 4K is bandwidth. Yeah. Because Twitch only allows you to upload, I think 6,000 kilobits per second is the fastest you can do it, I believe, which is like just barely enough to be able to stream in 1080, 60 frames per second, I should say. Like it's recommended to stream in 1080 30 or 720 60. If you have affiliate or if you are a partner, 1080 60 is easy to do because they actually raise the floor a little bit. But like if you're streaming really fast content like a shooter, you probably don't even want to stream in 1080 because just there's not enough upload on the Twitch bandwidth side to be able to support your frame rate. Basically, it's just going to be blurry as fuck. Yeah. So it's not anytime soon that Twitch is going to allow 4K streaming, at least not for just like affiliates in the general public. Maybe a few partners at some point, but I could do it. I gotta let me get partnered. I gotta get Tim the Tatman's numbers. I gotta get like 20,000 people watching me. I stream 4K. It's all worth.
Doesn't that mean you also relinquish the ability to win any crowns in Fall Guys?
Yeah, that's fair.
Season 2's here.
Okay, Season 2's here. I have not played it, but I've seen some of these maps. Like whatever the new Slime Climb map is, I can't remember what it's called. It's like the Gauntlet or something. One? No, it's got like the swinging axes, and there's like those rotating things with there's these big rotating cylinders with like these like gumdrop looking things that come up and swirl around.
I have not seen that.
Really difficult. Really difficult. So we'll get in there and we'll try it out, see how it goes.
You're waiting until Extra Life to
Probably.
start season 2.
Yeah, maybe.
Way to commit.
I mean, I might stream, not stream. I might play it a little bit here in the next couple of weeks because it feels like summer lasted. In some respects, it still feels like summer. Like summer came and went, and we're now deep into fall at this point. It's fucking October 10th, 8th, whatever.
Yeah, it's a little chilly out.
It's chilly. It's starting to get dark really quickly, which is annoying as hell.
Yeah.
But the PlayStation 5 comes out in a month. Like, we're in fall now.
You have nothing to fill that time.
Well, no, it's not that I have nothing. It's just like there's actually a few things. And I don't know what I'm going to have time for and what I'm not going to have time for. Which is why Fall Guys is like, maybe. Maybe I'll touch that before Extra Life. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm so conflicted because, like, I want it to be fresh so that I don't get burnt out at Extra Life. But I don't want to jump in a game and just be absolute trash because everyone has been playing it for a month.
Have they, though? I mean, I get that there's definitely going to be a lot of people that play Season 2, and by the time we get there, have been a month already. I just think that the overall their market share of players, like their player base, I think has dropped off pretty significantly.
Probably.
Going by just Twitch numbers alone. And that is 100% because of Among Us.
It's true.
But
the beans got beaten by the beans.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like we'll be okay. If we just jump in Extra Life blind, or if we jump in at Extra Life blind, I mean, like, we already have the core gameplay mechanics down.
That's true. Except for picking yourself up on a wall. I don't think once did that.
I've done it a couple times. I'm okay at that.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, how did we get here? Oh yeah, we didn't stream last week. We didn't have a podcast last week because we didn't have the ability to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we did, but what does a capture card do for the podcast? I thought it was just capturing gameplay footage.
No, it's what captures my screen.
Oh.
We couldn't do yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we need it.
I didn't realize that it was that, like, critically important. I just thought that it meant that we couldn't put up a, like, video log after.
No.
Okay.
No.
Misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah. So yeah, we couldn't stream last week. And what I was trying to get to at the beginning was there's old news now that we're going to cover this week because not too much has happened in the last couple of weeks. So a lot of this is going to be a little bit of older news this week. We're going to cover Cyberpunk's crunch, and subsequently that game has gone gold, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Super Smash Bros. DLC announcement from last week. Got some new crossplay news. Look at the launch lineups for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Then I got some stuff to bitch about.
Ooh.
On a new I'm dubbing the segment This Week in Hell. That's the name of the segment at the end of the show where I complain about stuff. This Week in Hell.
All right. That's fitting.
And then
we are in hell.
For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you saw today that I finally posted the Extra Life 2020 link for our page.
Less than a month away.
Yeah, as of yet, it's a month away yesterday. November 7th, Saturday, November 7th is our Extra Life game day. We're going to be starting at 8 a.m. as we always do Saturday morning and streaming through Sunday at 8 a.m. We're dodging daylight savings again this year.
Yeah, no thanks. Get that out of here.
That 25th hour has no business being in and or around.
I think that if I remember right, that killed us the first year.
Yeah. Just like the thought of having to go that extra hour, I think, made us quit a couple minutes early, or maybe an hour or two early that year.
Yeah. Also, I think we played the entire campaign of Halo 3 and
did.
you were just not having any of it.
That first year, it was a learning process because we didn't stagger the games the way we should have.
No.
Like we played
we kind of flew by the seat of our pants. We were like, "Oh, well, this is going well." But that's too bad. We tried to make a schedule and let's stick to it instead of like staying with what was going well.
Right. The other part of that is we decided to play a campaign, like a story-driven campaign.
Yeah.
In the early hours of the morning, which is not.
I think we started at like 2 a.m. or something.
Something like that.
It was a bad.
It was a bad
call.
decision. Yeah. So we've since learned. Now we've had this. We're going on year 4. Can you believe we've done this for 4 years?
No.
4 years of this.
We've done this. This is our senior year.
It is. We're graduating.
We did it.
We're gonna do it. So yeah, Extra Life coming up in a month. Our Extra Life page is live. You can find that over on my twitter.com or my Twitter account, twitter.com/CDRMagnus. You can also find in the Twitch panels below the link to donate directly to us and our goal of raising $1,000 for a nationwide children's hospital in Columbus, Ohio. Later on in the podcast, right before we wrap up, we're going to cover what that means for this year. We don't have a schedule yet, but we have our incentives and our milestones set. So we're going to go over that, and we'll talk about last year as well. So that's what you have to look forward to this podcast. But before we get to any of that, John, what you been up to?
Oh boy, I've been up to a lot because it's been 2 whole weeks.
2 weeks.
2 whole weeks. As I got caught earlier, I have started playing Among Us. I just started playing it today, and I only started because I saw that it was on the Extra Life list, and I was like, "Oh, I should figure out what this game is about."
I haven't played it at all. I just figured. I kind of figured that would be a fun one to play at Extra Life again, flying by the seat of our pants, not knowing what's going on. Other than, I've watched enough of it at this point to understand how the game works.
I knew what like it was about, but I have not seen any gameplay. All I know is that like people throw around the word sus a lot now. So I was like, all right, let's get my hands a little dirty. Let's see what this is about. Really fun, really fun. Games go really quick, and you can change so many variables to make it different every single time. But I won't get into it too much because either 1, people who are listening have probably played it, and 2, if you want to go in blind, the less you know, the better.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to go in blind, but
you might want to play a couple rounds.
Yeah, it's one of those games that it's definitely not a game that I'm gonna want to hang around in for too long. Like,
I was worried about that because I think you and I have the same mentality where like we don't like the games where you have to be really good at lying and like deceive people. It's not as bad in this.
So you're playing on mobile, right? Is there voice chat on that, or is it just text?
It's just text.
Okay.
Which I think makes it a lot better.
Makes sense.
You know, the whole keyboard warrior. If nobody knows who you are,
right,
it's easier to just type whatever.
True.
I also played, and I mentioned this. No, you didn't have the capture card, so nobody knew. I 100%ed Mario Galaxy and unlocked the ability to play it again as Luigi, which is just the biggest slap in the face of a reward for a 100% playthrough.
Hi, you completed this game. You basically got the platinum trophy. Do you want to play again as Mario's lesser brother?
Yeah, and also you'll get 1 bonus star, which I've gotten before because I've beaten the campaign as both Mario and Luigi 100%. And the bonus star is like, I think it was, hey, we're going to take you back to the start of the game where there's a celebration and you just have to run through and grab the star. Like it's
that's right at the beginning.
Not even, I think so.
Oh, man.
I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong, but I recall it being really disappointing. I finished Agretzko. I could have used a heads up that season 3 gets really kind of creepy at one point. Wasn't expecting that. Do you not know
I
what
don't
I'm
remember.
talking about?
No.
Well, I don't want to say it because it's a pretty big spoiler.
You have to tell me. I can't remember what was creepy about it.
Just the whole like situation. We'll discuss it.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, okay.
Okay. You figure you remembered?
I remembered. I got it.
Yeah. Horrifying.
See,
Like
because
legitimately horrifying because it's like a real world thing.
right.
Which is what the show does. It talks about real world issues. It just puts them into like cute little Sanrio characters.
Right. I guess what I kind of forgot like the
ending.
not the ending. It's just like the plot for me from that show is just like it's the arcs of the show, like those like the main plot line, like the whole the idol thing, like that kind of like took a backseat to just the character dynamics and the relationships of the season. So when I think about the season of the whole, I don't even think about like the main plot line at all.
The actual main story that was going on.
Yeah.
To drive these relationships and like the building of them.
Right.
Yeah. No, it just got so like dark.
Yeah.
Seemingly out of nowhere. It was like, hey, we're going to introduce this and one episode later we're going to wrap this up, but for this like these next 30 minutes you're going to be really uncomfortable. And they were right. I was.
Yeah.
And the last major thing I guess that I did was I started a just absolutely Herculean task. I started watching One Piece.
See ya in like 6 years, man.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's only 5 years left according to Oda. So.
Yeah, right. 6 years from now, and then after that, 5 more years.
Yeah. No, it's been fun though. I watched it. It was one of the first animes that I like got into back in the day in like middle school. I remember this is how obviously we're not old, but like
debatable.
We're getting old.
Sure.
Almost. But I remember, and I talked to somebody about this, and they were like, "Oh, geez, you are old." I remember setting VHSs to record episodes of One Piece because I think they were on Toonami, and they were on too late, and like I had a bedtime, so I would set a VHS, record the episode, and then watch it the next day on my little like 12-inch screen, big
CRT
TV that had a VCR built into it that I like got for Christmas one year. Great times. I loved it. But like that's how long this show's been going on. I started it when I had to record stuff on VHS.
So
like whoop.
When did DVDs become a thing? I remember getting our first DVD player. Like I guess the PlayStation 2 was a DVD player, and that was most people's first DVD player. So that would have been like 2000, 2001, so right around the turn of the millennium, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
And granted, DVDs were out, but like I was in middle school. I didn't have the money to buy DVDs for One Piece because anime is notorious for being like, hey, here's a $30 DVD. You get 3 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, well, back then, anime wasn't even really a thing. Like, I mean, Toonami Toonami trailblazed a lot of that. Like,
oh, for sure.
Without Toonami, where else would you have gotten it? Some like
nowhere.
You'd have to go to
the dark web.
Yeah, or if you lived in a major city, you could go to like a Mitsuo or something. Probably, maybe.
Yeah.
But
what kind of like 7th grade kid is like, hey, I want to go to this Japanese marketplace to buy these Japanese cartoons,
right,
with the money I don't have,
right? Like Toonami brought like that whole. I guess to that point, like Japanese games have been around since the 80s. Like people knew about, like they tangentially knew about anime or maybe Japanese culture because of video games, especially JRPGs. But like, how would you have even known anime was a thing? Like,
you wouldn't.
without Toonami, you wouldn't have known. I don't think.
Toonami was, I think, the only place that you could legitimately watch it if you were just a regular ass kid in the U.S.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started One Piece again. I'm like 30 episodes in. So 3% probably.
That is my that is my brother-in-law, one of his favorite anime. So Doug, if you're listening, here you go. Here's a shout out, Doug.
Hell yeah.
Tell us about One Piece, because I guess John could tell me about One Piece now.
We'll have a discussion about it whenever I'm like, God, I don't even know. I want to say like 100 episodes in because that sounds like a lot, but that's 10%. Like, I think they're so literally closing in on episode 1,000.
Is there anything? I guess The Simpsons is probably the closest thing, like, that's been around for that long.
But like The Simpsons, how many episodes are there of The Simpsons? Like, yeah, it's been going on forever, but
let's find out. Because you're right. Anime don't take. Internet. All right, episodes.
They don't have like traditional seasons in anime.
Sure. And if they take breaks, it's relatively short, unless it's something that's like kind of new. Like My Hero Academia is taking forever between seasons. I feel like new anime take forever between seasons, but some of the older ones just run continuously.
Yeah, One Piece, for reference, I just looked it up. According to Google, has 931 episodes. Is there any show that has more episodes?
I'm trying to find The Simpsons now. Okay. Yeah, no, as of October 4th, 2020, The Simpsons has broadcast 686 episodes.
One Piece has like a third more.
Yeah. I don't think there's any like syndicated narrative-driven TV show that's gone on that long. Actually, maybe like some soap operas or something like
maybe
that. Like the As the World Turns, or is ER still on? Whatever, like those daytime TV soap opera shows that have been around since the 80s. Those might come close.
Yeah. Oh, what a clickbaity article. I hate it. 13 longest running scripted TV shows of all time. Page 1 out of 17.
Oh, fuck that shit. It's going to give you viruses. There's going to be thousands of pop-ups on each page.
Yeah, not worth it. From what I see, whatever thing on that list has racked up an astounding 635 episodes. Is that how many you said Simpsons had?
It was 686. So that
okay.
that article's probably older. That was as of Simpsons had 686 as of October 4th. So sounds about right.
One Piece. Ridiculous. Can't wait until it's like 3 years from now and I can say that I've watched them all.
The other thing is, okay, pretend like you were going to buy that on DVD. How many DVDs is that?
Oh my God.
That would be...
Because it literally was, at least back in the day, it was like, I guess even currently, they only put like 5 to 7 episodes, maybe 8 on a disc.
Yeah. Let's say it's a Blu-ray. Like you can fit the Lord of the Rings extended editions on Blu-ray. They're re-releasing those. I saw.
So let's say 8 episodes on a Blu-ray.
Sure. How many discs?
What did I say? 935.
Yeah.
That would be oh my God, that would be 117 discs.
You'd need an entire bookcase just for the one anime.
That's
insane.
Absolutely ludicrous.
Talk about, okay, remember when I used to not play Japanese games when we first started this podcast 2 or 3 years ago now? Yeah, and I was I don't want, I just can't get into JRPGs because they take forever. They're like 100 hours. I can't sit here. Like, there's so much for me to play, and I just made every excuse under the sun.
Yeah, I remember.
900 episodes of One Piece. That is legitimately, that's like the next level for me. Like, I don't think I can. Legitimately, I don't think I can. The JRPG thing was just like a crutch. It was like, I don't know that I want to do this, so I'm just going to make an excuse for myself so I don't have to.
Sure.
This is like, I don't know that there's enough time in the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then he has the gall to come out and be like, yeah, no, 5 more years and I think we can wrap it up.
So let's see. I just did a Google search real quick. The average anime episode is about 22 to 24 minutes long.
Right, and anime episodes
including openings and endings.
Right.
Which you could skip, but like whatever. So this is very dated. This says so 831 episodes would be 16,620 minutes or 277 hours or about 11 days of nonstop One Piece. And that's missing 100 episodes.
So I guess that's about as much time as I put into Persona 5.
Yeah.
So
just think in the amount of in the number of times, in the amount of time it took you to beat Persona 5, what, like 6 times essentially?
Yeah.
You could have watched all of One Piece once.
Yeah.
Absolutely mad.
And that's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm watching it now. I don't know if all of it is on Netflix because like there's just a lot.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm sure that eventually I'll run out of stuff on Netflix and I'll have to go somewhere else, but like, so be it.
Talk
That'll
about
be
bang
in
for your
a
buck.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this isn't a very good segue, but I've been playing 13 Sentinels a lot over the last couple of weeks.
Sure.
I talked about it very briefly on our last podcast because I had just started it basically the day before. And I can now report back with much more authority on how good the game is. It's fantastic. It's taking me forever though. And I think that it's because of the visual novel part of it. It feels to me like I'm watching an anime more than it is like I'm playing a game.
Oh.
And because of that, I find that I can't really play it more than an hour and a half to 2 hours at a time. Like that's like 3 or 4 episodes of binge watching. Yeah. It's like binge watching 3 or 4 episodes of an anime and being like, okay, I need to do something else.
Need to take a break. Need to do a mental reset.
I wish that I could spend more, I would have finished it way before now if I were able to play it like a normal game. But because of just how I'm consuming it, it's taking me a longer time. I'll definitely beat it this week. I have about 10 hours left, I think. It is so good from a narrative point of view. I have a really hard time. I can't really talk about it without spoiling anything because almost anything about it is a spoiler, but I'll give you a little bit of an overview of like the appeal of the game.
It's about high school kids trying to stop the apocalypse, right? Basically.
Yeah, so there's
described as last time?
Sure. So there's 13 protagonists in the game and you play You play each one from their point of view of what's going on. However, there's 2 big things. One
of them's kind of sus.
No, one is that you don't play it chronologically.
Oh.
Even from one character. Like you might be playing one scene from a character and then their next scene might have taken place way before the first scene you played.
So basically like Persona 5, but times 13. Because like everything's a flashback for a while, and you're leading up to it.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit. It's much more. The other part though is that not only is it out of sync chronologically, because of the way you what's that?
What other way is there?
Because you choose which character you're playing.
Oh, you choose.
Yeah, so you have like this wheel of 13 characters, and there are like gates where it's like, okay, you have to, in order to unlock this character's next section, you have to get to this point in this other character's section. Or you need to complete this much of the battle part of the game.
So there's a general order that you have to follow.
Kind of, yes. But because you have the ability to choose which character you're playing at any given time, this, like, it's just a total puzzle piece. It's like if you take out a jigsaw puzzle and just dump all of the pieces onto the ground, and then you like try to fit together different sections based on the colors of the jigsaw. Ooh. And then you form them together. Like once you have the pieces sorted out, then you form them all together at the end. It's such a refreshing way to tell a story. Like, it's so much more engaging than if they would have just made this game like a point A to point B. Here's a chronological telling of the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the really, there's so many more layers to this, because let me throw some of these tropes out at you. There's a huge time traveling component of this.
All
There's
right.
so much time traveling.
Not only is it not chronological, but they're time traveling too. Excellent.
There's time traveling. I'm pretty sure there are alternate dimensions, or there's some sort of alternate universe at play. There are so it's basically a mecha game. It's like this it's like a Gundam or a Neon Genesis Evangelion or whatever. It's like these giant robots. There's alien invasion, there's kaiju, there's nanomachines and clones, and there's just so much. There's so many tropes. Like, this game takes every sci-fi trope from every sci-fi feature that's ever been made and puts it into this one game, and somehow it all connects in a way that doesn't seem like it's too much. It's something
impressive.
where
that's the Marvel, that's the Avengers of themes.
Yeah, it's definitely something that takes a lot of patience. But if you're patient and if you keep at it, it's so rewarding when you start to put those pieces together. I can't even explain it. It's so good. And like, the characters are genuine. The characters themselves are from like different time periods with the time travel piece. So like, there's, without spoiling too much, there's 2 characters that are from like World War II era Japan. Then there are some from the very far future, some from most of them are from the 80s.
Man,
the
talk
game
about spoilers.
The main part of the game
from World War II, and then people from like, after World War II.
There's the main part of the game takes place in the 80s. That's like the current time. So there's like a lot of like nostalgia in there for the 80s and the 90s.
Why is it always like the 80s where time travel's happening?
Well, I think it's because
why is that a thing?
I think that's because that's where a lot of the influence for this game came from. Like, so I've said like tropes and themes. They've directly taken from stuff like E.T., from Back to the Future, from Men in Black, from just so many great sci-fi
movies.
Series and movies.
Yeah.
You can tell how much the developers, like, how much influence these properties gave to them when they were making this game, because it's
is this game really just a giant 80s fanfic?
Almost, except it's totally unique. I've never played or seen a story that was this unique before. And the asynchronous like just wacky time travel plot really adds so much to it. It's something where like I really want to champion this game, and I really think that it's something that would have very widespread appeal. I think that the $60 price tag for a visual novel essentially is a steep ask for a lot of people.
Sure.
I think it's totally worth that. Like, it's a 40-hour game that is one of the most interesting and engaging stories of any property I've ever played. Like, this year it's stacked up against like The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima and Persona 5 Royal, these huge like monumental narrative experiences. Yeah. And it stands toe to toe with those.
Wow.
Like, that's how good the story is, and I want to champion it because, again, I think it's something that the story has universal appeal because it draws from so much of those 80s and 90s sci-fi movies. It draws from things like Power Rangers, even like the stuff that you grew up loving as a kid. Yeah. The Back to the Future movies, E.T. It draws from all this great stuff. It happens to take place in an anime setting, although I would argue that the art style is not at all anime. The character design is, but if you've seen any of the screenshots from the game, it doesn't look like an anime. I think that just the fact that it is a Japanese game that is, people are going to say, oh, that's just an anime visual novel. And the $60 price tag is just, it's going to be a steep ask for a lot of people, but I wish that it wasn't. Like, I want people to play this game so bad. There you go. I don't know what that was.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure that out.
So yeah, 13 Sentinels is so good. It's taking me forever to beat. I should beat it this week, but man, this is one of these games that I want to like shout at everybody and shake them that you need to play it. But I know it's just going to fall on deaf ears for most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I played a lot of that, and then in between my sessions of 13 Sentinels, I wasn't really sure what to do. I didn't want to buy another game. I thought about buying Star Wars Squadrons, but I decided against it. So I went out of the PSN one day just to look at the store and see what was available. And there are a few like new free to play games. One of them is that Rogue Company game that we've talked about a couple times that was on that Nintendo Direct Mini. I can't remember if it was the Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase or if it was something else. But it was that trailer it's a third-person tactical shooter. It's basically third-person Counter-Strike. But the heroes sort of are like it's almost like a hero shooter, third-person Counter-Strike.
What's the game called again?
It's called Rogue Squadron or Rogue Squad. Rogue something. It's Rogue Company. I think that's it. I think it's Rogue Company.
It sounds right.
But it's the one that I didn't like the trailer for the Switch one when they had it at the Nintendo thing because they censored it basically for the family audience.
Well, yeah.
But then it was at I think it was at the what was that thing? Gamescom. It was at the Gamescom opening night live thing that Jeff Keighley hosted, and there was a much cooler trailer.
The like PG-13 trailer.
Yeah, it was like the PG-13 like heist kind of trailer. And so I've been playing that now for the last couple of days. It's actually pretty fun. Free to play, so I definitely recommend picking it up if you like Counter-Strike. Just to fool around with it. It's in beta, I think, still. But it's pretty fun. Like, I'm not going to play it for a long time, probably. The trophies seem to be super easy. I've gotten most of them. But it's kind of cool to fool around with. The characters seem fun. It's a little bit generic. Like, you can like tell what they took exactly from like Fortnite and just smashed it in there. But yeah, it's kind of fun. Solid meh. Solid like, okay, I'm just wasting some time with my day. Like, I got nothing better to do.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'll just shoot some people.
It's a filler game.
Do you ever think about like what free to play games would have done for our childhood, or like in college? Because free to game,
whenever basically anytime you didn't have like money,
right? I mean, free to play games like weren't a thing. There were a few. Most of them were like browser based games, like RuneScape or
or just Flash games in general,
right?
Like really just garbage Flash games.
But like if we were growing up and we had not only just like one like if Fortnite wasn't enough, there are like 30 other free to play games that are on Fortnite's level that you could fool around with and just like go crazy with.
Yeah, especially back whenever like, and we've talked about this plenty of times before, but you and I both used to be a lot more into shooters than we are now. Like, I can only imagine.
Right. Yeah, like you have a new shooter basically every couple of months that you can fool around with.
Just play with for free.
Yeah.
It would have been very, very different.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been up to. We've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine again. I'm trying to get caught up to Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I stopped watching. I can't remember what season it was, but they went on witness protection, I think.
Holt that was a little while ago.
Holt and Peralta went into witness protection. I think it was maybe season 3 or season 4.
That sounds right. I think I'm caught up. I got caught up before the pandemic started,
Mm.
and I don't think they've released any new episodes since then.
Yeah, I unsubscribed from Hulu, which is why I fell off of it. But I recently just resubscribed because we were watching Futurama as well, and thought I might as well get caught up. So I've been watching a lot of that.
Man, I love Futurama. I don't understand why I love Futurama, but I never got on board with The Simpsons.
Same. I think it was just The Simpsons was a little too
real. Like they didn't phrase things in the context of like the future.
Well, I don't think that it has kids appeal, right? Like I got into Futurama because it was on Adult Swim.
Yes.
When I was in middle school. And The Simpsons is, I mean, it's basically just an animated sitcom, right? Like it doesn't have any, it's not wacky like some of the animated sitcoms we have now, like Family Guy or what else? Like
everything, all the situations were real, like they were realistic. It was just that you had really stupid people.
Right. There was some absurd elements to it, but it was all like very much grounded in reality.
Yeah.
But Futurama's not that. Like Futurama is sci-fi, dumb humor with, you know, I feel like that the humor level of Futurama is much more appealing to a younger audience than The Simpsons does.
That's fair.
I feel like The Simpsons is like white bread, like try to just appeal to everybody, whereas Futurama is much more dialed into a specific. It was created with a much more specific audience in mind, which is why it got canceled so many times. Like it was canceled on Fox because it didn't appeal to the people that they wanted to appeal to, and then it found life on Adult Swim, and then eventually Comedy Central picked it up and finished it out. But like it didn't do well in the same space as The Simpsons because it's not the same audience.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, I think that's it. I think that's all we've been up to. So let's move on to the news. We'll start with Crunch. Hate
it. You hate to see this, legitimately.
Yeah. This article comes from...
Especially in this context.
This article comes from Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon.com. Cyberpunk 2077 developer will require crunch ahead of November launch. Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red is reportedly implementing a mandatory crunch period ahead of the game's November release date, according to Bloomberg. Employees will be required to work 6-day work weeks, your typical amount of work, and 1 day of the weekend, according to an email allegedly leaked from the Polish company. Previously, CD Projekt Red promised that its employees wouldn't have to crunch. That is, work grueling hours over a span of time to complete a game. However, in January, CD Projekt Red CEO Adam Kaczynski admitted during an investors call that some degree of crunch would be necessary in completing the game. Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed multiple times, moves that onlookers hoped would reduce crunch. The game is now slated for November 19. According to Bloomberg's report, CD Projekt Red studio lead Adam Badowski sent an email to notify employees about the required crunch period. I take it upon myself to receive the full backlash for the decision, Badowski wrote in the email. I know this is in opposite direction, this is in direct opposition to what we've said about crunch. It's also in direct opposition to what I personally grew to believe a while back, that crunch should never be the answer. But we've extended all possible means of navigating the situation. An employee also told Bloomberg that some workers have already been crunching for more than a year. A CD Projekt Red spokesperson pointed Polygon to a tweet from Badowski, but provided no further comment. Okay, so this is the statement from Badowski. These last 6 weeks are our final sprint on a project we've all spent much of our lives on, something we care for deeply. The majority of the team understands that push, especially in light of the fact that we've just sent the game to CERT and every day brings us visibly closer to shipping a game we want to be proud of. This is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make, but everyone is well compensated for every extra hour they put in. And like in recent years, 10% of the annual profit our company generates in 2020 will be split directly among the team. So, Cyberpunk 2077, which is a game that has been anticipated hotly for the better part of 6 years now. It's gone gold. It went gold a couple days ago, officially, which means it is now printing.
Okay.
Gone gold means like their version 1.0 of the game is done.
Okay.
They've sent the game to be printed on discs. That's what gone gold means. So it's done. Now they're crunching, I guess, for the day one patch. I would guess is what this means. How many?
This feels like such a kick in the teeth.
It's
like, especially the line, "We've exhausted all other options." No, you haven't. You've delayed the game twice. That means that you could delay it a third time. Yes, it would suck, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. People would be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I kind of saw this coming."
Yeah, there's something to be said, and I haven't done enough research on this part of it. There are, I like Jason Schreier. So Jason Schreier, who now works for Bloomberg, previously at Kotaku, he is really big in pushing for the unionization of games, game developers at least.
Yes.
And
which would 100% end crunch.
Yes.
Crunch culture gone.
He's the one that reported this at Bloomberg. So he's the one that dropped this story. He's also the one that, like, anytime he interviews a game developer, like, especially with something like this, he would bring up that stuff to get clarification on what they're doing.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to crunch and employee workloads and that kind of stuff. Man, there's so many, I don't even know where to start. So there's something to be said about delaying games creates more crunch. I've seen this tweeted before. I've seen links to articles that every time I've read the articles, I can't recite back what it is right now, but there's basically a body of research out there that says when you delay a game, it just creates more crunch, because basically you're creating more of the game, which means more of the game needs patched, which means when it gets time to launch the game, there's going to be crunch for that thing.
Sure.
But at a certain point, like, time is a finite thing.
Yes.
Like, if you delay the game long enough, there wouldn't be crunch, or there shouldn't be crunch. Crunch is the company shouldn't be, like, at a certain point they need to call it, I guess, is the thing. Is they need to call when the game is done, and then they can put the patches after that.
Yeah, they can move on. Because
this is something that's only started in the last couple of generations. Back when games were only bought, like when there weren't internet connections.
There were no internet connections, yeah.
When the game shipped, there was nothing you did after that. It was done. Unless you were like a rock star that had a hot coffee mod, or somebody like pulled up a loose file in the PC version of the game and you had to go back and make new versions of GTA San Andreas because there were boobs in it.
Yeah.
Unless it was something like that, you don't go back and you don't make new versions of the game. That only started during the 360 PS3 generation. And so this culture of crunch, although it's probably existed for a long time, it means something different now. It's one of those things where, like, crunch was toxic back when it was overtime to ship the game, but now it's crunch to ship the game, and then it's more crunch to get the day one patch out. And then it's just like the crunch never stops.
Yeah. Which just I don't truly understand, because if you have a developer like Team Cherry, who's like a 3-man team coming out with Hollow Knight, and now they're coming out with Silksong, and they just haven't given us any news. Like, I don't think that they're crunching. And they're going to come out with, hopefully, another quality game. Like, why is it that these small devs seem to be able to do this stuff without crunching, but these giant ones who have way more resources?
Yeah, I
can't get it.
I mean, I would have to guess that it's probably the investors want money. They want the
guess.
game to ship.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You have the money. Like the game is only going to be better if you put the right resources into it, and if the developers that are making the game are happy.
Yes.
And like you can tell what the real answer is here. Sorry, not the real answer. You can tell what the real philosophy is here. Like, so CD Projekt Red, up until this point, has been saying, okay, we're not going to crunch. We're not going to crunch. We crunched on The Witcher 3. We're not going to do that again. We're not going to crunch. We believe in not crunching until we have to crunch.
Yeah.
And then they come out and say, well, our employees are highly compensated. They want to do this.
Do they, though?
No. I can say I haven't met a single person from CD Projekt Red. I don't speak Polish. I don't know any of them. I can't name a single developer at that studio. I can tell you without a doubt that they do not want to do this.
None of them want to, miss out on time with like their family and loved ones to
No.
release this game to the world. That'll get played for like a couple months and then probably put down.
And I feel like this issue of crunch comes up like once every 6 months where a big game has to crunch. And then a story like this leaks. This is a significant one because, again, up until this point, CD Projekt Red has been very upfront about not saying they weren't going to do this. Yeah. Like, we've delayed the game twice now, 2 very high-profile delays. So we wouldn't have to do this again.
Here we are.
But we're still going to do it. The game has gone gold. It went gold this week. I think it was Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday. There's over a month left before the game launches. And they're still going to crunch through that.
Absurd.
It's just...
This is why if I ever got into like learning coding and like game development, I would never, I don't think, want to join a big studio. I would want to be on a small team who's just doing our own thing that's like more of a passion project. Because those teams, I don't think, ever have crunch.
At least not in the same way.
Yeah, if they do, they legitimately want to be there. They're not being paid off to want to be there.
It's just, it's...
Like, how the hell can you have, and we know this, we already talked about it, how can you have, what's his name, Concerned Ape?
Mm-hmm.
How can you have a one-man team come out with Stardew Valley, and then yet this giant studio, CD Projekt Red, has to resort to crunch? Like, why is it that the more resources you have, the more crunch you have to do? I think that's the real equation.
It's the culture. It has to be the culture.
Yeah.
And changing culture is easier said than done. I get that.
Sure. Yeah.
And this isn't even just the culture at CD Projekt Red. It's the culture of AAA game development.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just like, clearly something needs to change.
And nobody's... I mean, they tried, I guess. But, like, I guess they didn't do it realistically enough.
Right.
Like, they gave themselves new deadlines, but maybe whoever made those deadlines wasn't being as, like, worst case scenario as they should have been.
Well, yeah, so here's the thing. So, okay, they had 2 high-profile delays. And through those high-profile delays, they were saying, we're not going to crunch.
Yeah.
So then what happened during your strategic planning session when you were trying to figure out the original release date? How did you go from fall 2019 to a delay to spring 2020 to a delay to fall 2020? You were a year off. What are you going to do next time to make sure that's not the case?
Like, is crunch ultimately just a result of the figureheads and bigwigs in a company putting their timeline out to the public instead of like the one that the lead developer probably gave them and was then ignored on?
I would be super interested, and I don't even know what discipline would research this. Maybe someone in communication. Maybe it would be an engineering thing. But like, I want to see a study I want someone to go out and find game developers that don't crunch. Because there are AAA game developers that...
Who have their shit together.
Yeah. You don't hear about them because you don't hear about their crunch. It's like they're not in the news for that because there is no news kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not a problem, so they're not discussed.
I want to see that. I want to see an analysis of like, and this would be impossible to do because you're never going to get access to the financials and like the company philosophy and that CEO or that project manager's like their thoughts and feelings on this kind of stuff. But like, I want to know, like, is this a leadership issue? What is the issue with this? Because there are some developers that don't have the issue. Is it that they are business people and they understand the amount of resources it's going to take to carry something out and the amount of time that's going to be required to finish something? And that these maybe it's like a creative, like a right brain versus left brain thing. Like if a project lead is more, you know, creative and they're like the one driving the project forward, maybe they're more focused on the minute details, whereas somebody who's maybe bigger picture and more focused on logistics knows this better. Like there has to be a reason here.
Yeah.
Is it just that game developers by nature, like the people that are heading these big AAA games by nature, they are artists, and artists tend to not do a great job at things like logistics? Is that it?
Maybe.
Like, what is the issue?
It could also be the guys who are in charge don't understand a lick of coding or like actual development.
It could be the other way too.
Like, oh, you just have to make a hat. That'll take like 10 minutes, right? And it's like, no, we have to plan all the vectors. We have to import all these files. We have to get the lead artist to design the hat. We have to make sure that it stays on the guy's head as he's running. Like, there could be a very big miscommunication or misunderstanding.
Yeah. So
between the guy in charge who's like, just make the hat for the guy.
That's so
and the people who are like, do you know how much work it is to make that hat?
Right. So but then again, what is the issue? Is the issue communication?
Yeah.
Is the issue logistics management? Like, what is the issue?
I think it's communication, and then the guy in charge who is being given a message just kind of ignoring it. Again, because of probably stockholders and people who, at the end of the day, are kind of driving the resources behind the company.
And it sucks because like these developers, game developers by nature of their careers, they don't want to go out and speak against their companies.
No.
Because they could be in danger of being terminated or more likely just laid off. It seems like there are less massive layoffs now than there were maybe a generation ago, where a game would end and they would lay off half of their staff. Like every developer would just lay off half of the staff because the game was done. They would hire
way too many as like contract workers, and then
you don't see that anymore. At least in the news. It could still be happening. I don't know. But you don't see that being reported on as much, which leads me to believe that maybe, at least from a job standpoint, game developers are doing better at hiring people full-time and not on a contract basis.
Yes. Which was at least a big issue. So a way to tackle one, but you've since, I guess, essentially created another.
It's just that there needs to be something done about this.
Yes.
At the very least, don't come out 2 years in advance of shipping your game and like get on your knees and be like, okay, we're definitely not going to crunch this time, guys. And then when it's game time, it's the fourth quarter. You got one drive left, and now you're going to force everybody to work overtime. Like,
and like,
come on.
The thing that upsets me and bothers me the most about this, specifically this case, you have a pandemic you can blame.
Yeah.
If all of your fans and people who are going to buy the game were willing to give you 2 extended deadlines, for really no reason other than poor planning, I would assume, you have the world's greatest excuse.
Plus, I feel like everybody expects the game to be delayed. Like, everybody was expecting a delay. I know everybody... this is one of the most highly anticipated games of all time. But there was a significant part of the fan base that was expecting a delay. And if you told them that there was a delay, I don't know that there would have been very many upset people. It would have been like, oh man, that sucks. But okay.
It would have been... It's... I hate that this is the best analogy I've got, but it's like being a fan of the Cleveland Browns. You want them to win, but when they lose, you're not mad. You're not really even disappointed because
just like this is how life goes.
It was going to happen.
Right. Oh, I don't know. I don't know that this ever gets fixed until there's like a huge movement to unionize across all of a AAA game development. I don't know that this ever changes.
No.
I guess there could be a situation where it's like a chipping away at the rock kind of thing where like, okay, CD Projekt Red is going to unionize and then 2 years down the road, someone else unionizes.
Yeah, someday the dam will break just piece by piece.
It's just like that. This can't be acceptable anymore.
No.
And maybe you do pay your staff very well. That still doesn't change the fact that they're not seeing their families, but for 1 day a week. And
for some people, money is not the most important thing. Like, there are other things in life that mean more. And I'm sure you have a small percentage who legitimately like don't even care about the money, don't care about seeing people. This game is their passion.
Sure.
I'm sure you have a small percentage of those people. But then you've got plenty of people who are probably like, that's fine. Give me more money. I'm game. But you also have the people who want to see their family. And you have people who just want to, like have time off to just relax. Like there's so many different camps of people in this situation.
And you're lying. Like the leadership is lying. You can't lie.
There's really no other way to say it.
You can't lie and say we're not going to crunch. And then not only are you pushing for mandatory crunch 6 days a week for everybody, but you've been crunching for the last year. There are people that have been crunching for the last year, is what this article says, is what's been said. Where I closed it. Doesn't matter. There's a part that said I read it. There was a point that there have been employees that have been crunching for the last year. So there were people probably crunching when you said you weren't going to crunch.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Now just the last third of... So whenever they announced the first delay, 1/3 of the company wanted to crunch. Second delay, third wanted to crunch. And now instead of announcing a third delay, you've just said, you know what? All right, fine. All hands on board. Everybody's crunching.
Yeah. At some point, there will be a deep dive into this, I think. From somebody that gets laid off or somebody that quits after the game launches. That'll talk to Schreier or some other.
We will see the true timeline of what on earth happened.
This is unacceptable. CD Projekt Red. I don't care how good your game is. Do better.
Do better, please.
Last Thursday, Mr. Sakurai took the stage of YouTube or Twitch or wherever you were watching for a whole 3 minutes.
Your preferred streaming service.
To show off a little trailer for the next Smash Brothers fighter in the DLC Pack 2. And that is Minecraft Steve and Alex. And I think an Enderman and something else.
And a zombie.
A zombie, yes. You get Minecraft fighters.
And apparently he had to like remake the game to make this happen?
Yeah, so I don't know if this
I
is
don't really
mentioned in this
understand
article.
how that plays out, but like
So
I did see the quote after where he was like, yeah, so Nintendo just came up to me and they were like, hey, can we put Steve in? And I was like, I would have to redo a real big chunk of this game to make that work. And they were like, hey, so can you put Steve in? He's like, all right, I guess I'll put Steve in then.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the, because there was a direct, or not a direct, I don't know, there was a presentation. I don't know if it had the direct branding or not, but on Thursday they showed off just the 3-minute little intro video kind of thing,
Yes.
announcing the character, and then the next day there was a more built out video where they showed gameplay and move sets and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I did not watch any of that, but from what I understand, yeah, it's right here. Sakurai explained, this article comes from Polygon as well. Michael McWherator writes, Minecraft is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The only line I want to read here is, Sakurai explained that adding Minecraft characters to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a massive challenge, saying that the development team will rework all our existing stages so that blocks can be placed in them. So there's something about the building mechanic of those characters that they're going to have to fundamentally change the code of all of the maps to make it work.
hey, you know what they're probably not going to hopefully do? Crunch. I hope not.
Crunch on a 2-year-old game. A game that came out in 2018. No. 2017?
When did Ultimate come out?
Didn't it come out in fall of 2017 and then it was considered for the Game Awards in 2018?
That sounds right.
Or was it 2018 and 2019? Maybe it was 2018 and 2019.
No, it came out December 7th, 2018.
Okay. So yeah, so 2 years. 2 years, a 2-year-old game.
Yes.
Let's not crunch, Japan.
2-year-old game. Let's completely build it again from the ground up, essentially, because one character franchise wants to be added.
So Minecraft, it seems like this is pretty contentious. I feel like it's fine. This is like it's the most popular game in the world, one of them. It makes sense that Nintendo would want to have this series be represented in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems like there's I would say probably, at least from what I've seen on the internet, like 80% of the people are happy about this, or at least neutral.
Yeah.
Then there's a vocal minority of people that seem to not want this one bit.
But you were going to have that regardless of who it was.
100%. Did you look at Sakurai's, did you pay attention to Sakurai at all during these videos?
I saw some screenshots.
I got the feeling that this was not something that he wanted to do.
Yeah, that's kind of, at least the screenshots that people took, and granted, it could have been a very just poorly timed screenshot, very out of context, like soundbitey kind of thing. But there were some images of him where he looked like his soul was taken.
There was that, and there were a couple remarks that it could have just been translation issues.
Yes.
But they were kind of like he didn't know what this was, almost. Like,
yeah.
he doesn't understand it, really. If it's for what I got from it. Is it like he's probably aware of what Minecraft is, but he was like, oh, apparently this is how this works. Like, he didn't care enough to like really look at it. And yeah, I don't know. I guess this is fine.
Yeah, here's this stupid game. I guess I just have to mesh it into my masterpiece. Let's see how this piece of trash works.
I wonder if this at all is like why Sakurai's not making any more. Like, this is his last one. Because he has gone on record saying this is his last one. He's not doing any more.
I feel like he said that last time, though.
That could be. I don't know what he would move on to. Like, he's been Smash Bros. Forever.
Just let him do what he wants. The man has earned it.
Yeah.
Like, I think he stopped doing Kirby games because he got bored of it. So, just let him do. if he essentially built Smash from the ground up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was his like baby essentially.
I think so.
Like let him just let him breathe. Let him be free.
Yeah, he is best known as the creator of the Kirby and Super Smash Bros. Series. I still fucking
Can you imagine
love
having that credit? Not one, but two just extremely well-known games.
I still don't understand. If you are at a computer right now, or if you have your phone and you're not driving, basically if you're not in a car, go to your nearest computer.
Sure.
Open up a web browser.
All right.
Hopefully it's Chrome. Or if you're not
should
using
be.
Chrome, at least set your default search to Google. Don't use any of that Bing crap.
Mm-hmm.
Google Sakurai. The fucking first image that pops up, I am never going to not be shocked when I see it.
Oh. I think I see which one you're talking about.
I don't know why that comes up. I don't understand like how that got to be at the top of the image search. What had to happen?
One of these things is not like the others.
If you don't want to go and do that, there's a mug shot of someone who is very clearly not Masahiro Sakurai.
Even better, at the top where it has like the for me at least, where it has the like related things you can just click on to just jump to a different topic. That mugshot is just the word Nintendo.
Amazing.
That's Nintendo. Mr. Nintendo, right there.
Anyway, I don't really have anything else to say about Minecraft Steve. I think it's a totally fine character. I think it brings in a series that is beloved. I hope that Sakurai at least has a little fun making it, even if he's not super enthusiastic about it. I also hope that this is like the last time Nintendo goes full corporate on trying to like force a character in here.
Yeah. Give us Waluigi. Please. You own him.
Yeah. I don't
let
think,
him out.
I don't think they will. I think that's a ship that's sailed. I think at this point, the rest of the DLC characters, unless
how many left? Like four spots?
Yes, yeah, there were six characters in this DLC pack, and Minecraft Steve is the second. So there's four more left.
Who do you got?
Who do I? Oh man,
realistically, I'd love to see Waluigi, but I think unfortunately you're probably right, and that ship has probably sailed.
There's so much outcry. There's so much pleading out there for Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
I could see that.
And I could see him even doing a thing where it's sort of like Dragon Quest, where there were the four heroes.
Yeah.
I could see him doing like 4 Kingdom Hearts characters. Sort of maybe even make it like a similar kind of it wouldn't be an Echo Fighter to the hero from Dragon Quest, but I could see him doing something like that. I think that Sora is probably one of them. If there's 4 more left, I really think they're focusing on I don't think there's going to be any more major Nintendo ones, unless the one exception that I can think of is maybe somebody new from Zelda, from Breath of the Wild, the Breath of the Wild verse.
Yeah.
Especially with Hyrule Warriors, whatever that game is.
Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity. Maybe.
Oh my God, we have to talk about that.
I haven't seen anything about it. I thought you were cutting it off.
Well, all I will say is that they have like shown the young versions of Impa and what is it, Pura? Regardless, they've shown the young versions of people who were either very old or the one girl who turned herself young on accident. And the internet is simping so hard.
Oh, man.
Holy hell.
Aren't they?
It's ridiculous.
People need to chill. People need to take a cold shower.
Yeah.
It's just like when they showed off Sonya for the first time from Pokemon Sword and Shield, and within 10 minutes, there was lewd art of Sonya on the internet. Within 10 minutes.
I wish that surprised me.
Just calm down, internet.
I really do.
Calm down.
You've got all this talent and creativity. Please put it somewhere positive.
Okay, so unless they do something from Legend of Zelda, I don't think we're getting any more
first-party
Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
So I think Sora's a shoo-in. If Sora doesn't make it in, that's going to be like one of the biggest, like Sakurai has to hate that series.
Yeah.
Like if Sora doesn't get in, it's because Sakurai personally hates that series.
I think you're right based on the fact that they have to redo the code to make Minecraft Steve work.
Yeah. Because Cloud's already in there.
If you're willing to redo your entire game for one character, but not put just another one that's highly requested in where you have to do no work other than make that character.
Yeah.
You hate that character and that series.
And like Kingdom Hearts makes so much more sense. It makes so much sense because even from like the spirit perspective and the assist trophy / whatever, like you can just do there's so much Disney you could do. There's probably a lot of licensing issues in there too. But
I mean, is there though?
Even if
it's just all owned by Disney.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just talk to Mr. Disney and you can do whatever you want.
But Cloud's in the game, so it's not Final Fantasy. I really think it's just the Kingdom Hearts part of it that he like. It's not Square Enix. It's not Final Fantasy. It's just the Kingdom Hearts thing that he has no interest in.
He's like, man, I hate these games. They are not. They can stay away from my game.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Sora.
I really think Crash has a chance.
I think Crash has a chance too.
Especially because he would be just so different. Like, I feel like with a lot of Fire Emblem characters and some of the more recent characters being like the swords-based characters, you have to have other things. Even Steve has some, like he has a diamond sword, if I remember right. Like,
yeah, there was a meme out there that was like, I can't believe there's another sword character in Smash. But yeah, no, and Crash has traction in Japan. Like Crash is a game that is popular in Japan too.
And with the remastered series and the new one coming out, it's a good time to put him in.
Man, yeah, I at this point I don't think there's any. Master Chief is not coming. I don't care who's calling for that. Master Chief's not making his way to Smash.
I don't, like, what would they even say? Because whenever you have those, like, Super Smash times whatever, like, crossed with whatever, for Assassin's Creed, they had to just put Altair because they couldn't do the name Assassin's Creed because it's rated M.
I forgot about that.
And they did it with something else recently, too. I think it was Travis Touchdown or whatever from Nowhere Heroes.
Yep.
So you're not gonna put Super Smash Bros. Times Master Chief. That's not happening.
I don't know. I really don't know of anybody else. Like there's no other series out there.
I've seen people want Shantae.
Yeah, that's just that character is not popular enough.
Yeah.
Like that, there's a group of people that really like those games, but it's just not popular enough. Overall,
yeah.
I mean, I guess you could also say that like Persona 5 is nowhere near popular enough, but they got a character in. But
do you think
that only happened because Sakurai really loved that game?
Yeah.
I don't know that Sakurai loves.
What are the odds, especially now that they're putting some kind of building mechanic in, that we just see a generic Fortnite player? Because I mean, it's cartoony, and we've already got Snake who has a gun, and Joker has a gun. Like,
I think that only happens if Nintendo starts to shill.
Okay.
Like if Nintendo's like there's too much development going into these things, like we're not getting a return. We need something big. I think that happens, but again, I don't think Fortnite's big enough in Japan. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
We'll see.
I have
Are
no
there any
expectations.
old games?
That's the thing. I think all of the old games I can think of are in there. Like I would have said like crazy out of my mind stuff. Like Snake has been in for years now.
Yeah.
Snake is probably the biggest one. Like could anything Kojima. We're not going to get Norman Reedus from Death Stranding in there.
And I don't think we're going to get Doom Guy either. Like
No.
He's essentially Master Chief in Nintendo's eyes, I think.
Yeah. I can't think of older games. Like jokingly I said stuff like the Dragonborn before, but
yeah.
No, there has to be some sort of Japanese appeal to it. And that doesn't exist there.
I really do like the idea that has been thrown around the internet that the final character is going to be Sakurai himself. I love that. Personally.
That'd be pretty cool.
People are like, yeah, his final smash will just be that he deletes a character. their code is just gone.
What if the final character is Master Hand? And Master Hand has always been Sakurai.
There's certainly theories out there that it's been him the whole time. I could see them maybe putting Master Hand in, especially with how they've recently put in big characters that like were too big to do in the past, like Ridley. I think that was the reason for not putting Ridley in for so many years, was that he was just going to be too large.
Yeah.
So I could see them doing Master Hand. I still really, really want them to put Waluigi in just to set things right.
It really is.
Maybe that's how we stop 2020.
What major Mario characters aren't in there? So Waluigi, Birdo. Like who's in tennis that's not in there? Birdo and Waluigi? Is that it?
That's basically it, I think. Oh, I've also seen people calling for Paper Mario.
Yeah. I
could see it, I guess, but like also not really, especially with how Paper Mario is now. I could have seen it more whenever it was a typical, like a more of an RPG kind of thing.
That's also why, like, I really feel like these are all going to be third-party partnership things. I don't think that Nintendo is going to do the numbers they want, or it's going to like, it's not going to, if it comes out and it's going to be yet another version of Mario, like that's not going to draw eyes. I'm really glad that they just put the Breath of the Wild Link skin in there and they didn't do a separate Breath of the Wild Link.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Because it's not, like, who cares at that point?
Yeah.
So I think it has to be something that draws eyes. Again, because, and this is unfair, but these Smash announcements have become such a, like a, what's that called? Like a set piece, or like such an event. They become an event. Everybody like looks forward to it. Much
you
like
look for that letter. You try to see who's going to get the letter, although Steve didn't get a letter.
No. That's true.
Go to hell, Steve.
Are there mailboxes in Minecraft? I don't know.
Maybe. If there aren't officially, then you can build a mailbox.
Okay. Let's stop talking about Smash Bros.
Enough on Smash.
We're going to flip forward. I was going to talk about this more in depth, but we can just kind of skip over it. Important announcement going hand in hand with Cyberpunk going gold this week. Bugsnax has gone gold. As of today, Bugsnax is being shipped. It's coming out on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 and the Epic Games Store on November 12th. That is a launch day title, ladies and gentlemen. And it's perfect. I assume. I guess I don't know what the playtime is. I don't know how long it's going to take to beat that game. However, it's definitely not going to take as long as Miles Morales or Assassin's Creed.
No.
And
I mean, maybe. What if What if it does?
Yeah.
What if it's like a 100? What if it's like a Persona 5 length game?
That would be crazy. I mean, they also put out the voice cast. If you go follow me on Twitter, but I retweeted, and I think Nibel was the one that put it out. Or if you just follow Nibel, you would have saw this too. But there is they announced the voice cast today as well. All of them are like accomplished voice actors, not actors that I would have pegged to be in an indie game like this.
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta wonder, did they all sign on a while back, or like did they sign on after this became viral?
I don't know.
I'd love to, again, information that we will never get access to. I would love to see those contract dates. Like, not even the details, just when they were signed.
Yeah, because a lot of times voice acting is like the last thing that goes into the game.
Yeah.
It's definitely the thing that's why Atlas always has released their localization so late, is because the voice acting takes forever to do. And like 13 Sentinels is fully voice casted in both. So you can play 13 Sentinels in English or Japanese with English subtitles if you want to do that. And the voice casts for both are great because, again, they went out and they got great voice actors. And so it could have been a thing where like they saw Bugsnax be announced back in July, and then they're like, okay, this game suddenly became a lot bigger. Like maybe even for what's that studio? No More, or fuck. What is the name of the Bugsnax studio? Bugsnax.
Remember
talking about Bugsnax. Ooh, it's Bugsnax. Young Horses. Maybe Young Horses.
No more Young Horses.
No more Young Horses. Maybe Young Horses put out the trailer for Bugsnax, and they were like, fuck, this game is going to be a lot bigger than maybe we thought it was going to be. We're going to sell more copies. Why don't we put more investment in this game and voice? Maybe it was all like written dialogue before.
Last minute kind of situation.
They decided to put in voice work. But yeah, these are all big name voice actors. Not the biggest of names, but
do you think
recognizable.
Bugsnax is in crunch?
I don't know.
In my heart of hearts, I don't believe.
I don't believe it either. Young Horse Games.
They are pure. They will finish on time with no crunch, and they'll still give everybody a bonus because that's how it works.
Wow, go to younghorsesgames.com. This is like the most 1999 website I've ever seen.
Oh, love it. Can't wait for this.
Oh, wait. Never mind. I guess that's really weird. If you Google Young Horses, the first link takes you to a press sheet for Octodad.
Yeah, that's not a great website.
Then the actual website is much more.
Oh, this is more modern. This feels appropriate.
Okay, well the team is like 8 people. So I would assume that they're not in crunch.
Man, it's so crazy to me that this dumb little idea that you can have and work on with like maybe even 8 friends of yours can just suddenly skyrocket into fame out of nowhere.
Because of a song, basically. Yeah, well, it's like the unique idea, and then the song really helped propel it.
Coupled with like essentially one piece of viral marketing.
Yeah.
Like,
see, that's the power.
It's amazing how the stars can align for
that's
somebody.
The power of those big events. That's the power of PlayStation coming out and saying, okay, we're gonna do an hour and a half long event where we're gonna show off new stuff. And that's the power of doing that and not having one of those stupid fucking montages in the middle.
Yeah.
Bugsnax could have very easily been an afterthought.
Could have been a montage game
in the middle of a montage. But no, they gave it a full trailer. And it not only is it going to do work for PlayStation because they're going to make money off of every copy of Bugsnax that's sold, but it does so much for that developer. Like Young Horses making a silly physics game in Octodad. And then I think I saw, I haven't watched any of the gameplay because I'm trying to stay dark on this game as much as I can.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I read one title that said like Bugsnax is basically like a mystery slash, I forget what it is, but like there's some narrative to this game. So Bugsnax is more built out. 8 people in the studio. Young Horses could be positioned to like really become something bigger because
they
of
could
this
become
game.
a new like AAA studio.
Yeah, or at least like they could be like a bigger studio. Like they could put out and that maybe they don't want to. It's whatever they want to do, obviously. But like because of this one little piece of marketing, because PlayStation let them into their press conference and gave them the time of day, it changes everything about this. It changes the conversation. It created the conversation, and it changes like how we approach that developer from now on.
I'm just thinking, like, you compare CD Projekt Red, where like you have this boardroom and like all these investors and stockholders on this giant meeting or something that you have to give these reports to, and like for a studio like this, I'm imagining that the investors are like, "Hey, so I told my mom how far we are in the game, and she was like, great job." That like that's the investors are just like your family and your close friends. What an absolute crazy, just whack world where one studio is the complete opposite, and yet both games are so anticipated.
And it's going to be, I tweeted this today, but this is going to be the first game I play on my PlayStation 5.
Hell yeah.
It's a launch day title. Just by the virtue of what I think the game is, I think I'm going to be able to complete it in a week before Cyberpunk comes out, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to start Spider-Man and have to worry about like finishing that as soon as I can to get into Cyberpunk. I can go into Bugsnax. I can enjoy Bugsnax. And then I can put Bugsnax down whenever I feel like putting Bugsnax down and start Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I'm so happy
we'll see which game brings you more joy.
Yeah. We'll see which game brings the developers of Cyberpunk more joy. That's not so much the crunch. The crunch would suck, obviously. The biggest thing that like is the turnoff for game development for me is the effect of crunch on my enjoyment of the medium. Like the effect of just because of how much time it takes to make a game, by virtue of that and not being at home, you then no longer really get to enjoy games.
Yeah.
Because when you do get the 5 minutes to be at home with your family, you're spending it with your family, hopefully.
Ideally, yes.
Okay, so as we wrap up the show here, let's go rapid fire through a couple more things. Whoops. Unplugged my headphones.
R.I.P.
Couldn't hear shit. Out. Let's move into my new segment, This Week in Hell.
Yes.
This Week in Hell, we're going to talk about Google Stadia.
Can this thing just
Did you read this article? Did you read any of this?
I did not. No.
So let me blow your mind right now. Okay, you know how Chrome don't read it. Don't read it. Look up at the camera. Don't read it.
Okay. I'm looking. My eyes are on you.
So you remember when Stadia first came out, and you needed not only a certain kind of Chromecast, but then you needed the controller and you needed the subscription, and you also needed to buy games on top of all of that.
Yes.
Well, Google revealed that its new Chromecast device is not going to support Stadia at launch. And they are discontinuing the old versions of Chromecast. What the
I don't understand. How do you play this?
Is Google doing? What are they doing? Okay. This article comes from Kotaku. Ethan Gatch over Kotaku wrote this. Stadia doesn't even work on Google's new Chromecast. Google revealed its new Chromecast device yesterday, and it does a lot more than the previous versions. One thing it doesn't do, however, is stream Stadia games. Officially called Chromecast with Google TV, the new device comes with a remote and functions like a standard streaming box, letting you watch stuff on Netflix or Hulu directly, rather than having to stream it from your phone. Despite this upgrade, or maybe even because of it, the new Chromecast can't stream games off Google's Stadia service. According to The Verge, that feature won't become available until sometime next year. It's a bizarre move to have your new flagship streaming device not support your flagship video game streaming service, but what makes it even weirder is that Google has discontinued the current Chromecast Ultra that can play Stadia games on your TV. You can still get one by purchasing an entire Stadia starter kit complete with Google's gaming controller for $100, but if you just want to pick up the dongle itself, you're out of luck. So you can still buy the Chromecast Ultra if you buy the Stadia starter kit for $100. But they discontinued the device itself. And on the new device, it's not going to be out until, quote, sometime next year, which could mean anything.
Yeah, it could mean the end of next year, holiday season.
If you're Google, how can you look at me with a fucking straight face and say you care about games? In the last podcast, we talked about Microsoft and we talked about Amazon's new streaming service, Luna. And we said on that podcast that we trust Microsoft with games. We don't trust Amazon and we don't trust Google because they have not proven to us that they are serious about this. And this just reaffirms that they are not serious about this.
Yeah.
They put out a new piece of hardware, and that hardware doesn't do the thing that, like, it doesn't have the core feature of Google's platform. Stadia, if it's going to be successful, needs to be a core pillar of your platform for consumers, and it's not even available on your new device. What if PlayStation just put out the PlayStation 5 and they were like, sorry guys, no PS Now. That'll come sometime in the future. What are you doing? Why even try? Why have you spent all of this fucking money on Stadia when you're not committing to it? Doesn't make any sense.
You hate to see it.
Doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Not a lick.
The other This Week in Hell, the only reason I have this on here is because a bunch of fanboys were tweeting about it. And fanboys tweet, and they don't really know anything.
As they do, yes.
I think it was Wario64 tweeted this little story out. It was either him or Nibel. I can't remember which.
I think I did see this story.
But it says this is from the Microsoft the official Microsoft news website. Their company's press page, basically. The title is GameStop announces multi-year strategic partnership with Microsoft. Because Nibel or Wario64 tweeted it out, and nobody bothered to read the actual article, there was a lot of discussion on that tweet and the tweet that was retweeted that came from the official Microsoft account about oh, look, GameStop's not dead. This is going to be amazing. Like Xbox plus GameStop. No one fucking bothered to read the article, though, which is essentially, hi, yeah, GameStop is going to start using Office 365.
Yeah.
Also, GameStop's going to now use Surface tablets instead of their PCs that they were using for checkout, I guess. Oh, and here's an Xbox thing. GameStop sells Xbox All Access, which is the thing where you can buy the Xbox plus the Game Pass Ultimate for a 2-year monthly fee,
like a pre-approved 0% interest or whatever.
But it's not like GameStop has a monopoly over that. You can do that at Best Buy and Amazon and other retailers too, I think. This has nothing to do with games.
No.
Other than the fact that GameStop is a company that does retail games. This is all about, hey, we're not using Gmail anymore. Now we're using Outlook. That's what this is.
That's what it boils down to.
Read the article, people.
Nah, too much work.
Okay. That's the end of This Week in Hell. Stadia, fucking get your shit together. You're not going to. Have they given up? Is this them just giving up?
I guess, but giving up while also trying as hard as they can with minimal effort to not piss off the people who invested. at least showing that they are at least thinking about it to some degree without actually doing any work to support it.
I can't believe that they released a new piece of hardware and it doesn't run the service. I thought the entire point of Stadia was that you can play it anywhere. You can open up a fucking Chrome browser on your phone or on your PC or your laptop or your iPad Pro, and it'll run Stadia because you're just using a Chrome browser.
Yeah.
But you can't get that to work on a Chromecast?
Nope.
What? Whatever. Just let Stadia die, please. Let it die a death it deserves, not one that's like long and drawn out where it's like on life support for many years before you finally pull the plug and it's just billions of dollars wasted. Put this billions of dollars to good use. Fund healthcare. Go and fund a fucking vaccine for coronavirus. We don't need yet another game streaming service that no one's playing.
Yeah, do literally anything else and it'll be better for probably everybody, including yourselves.
Okay, so let's move on from hatred to happiness.
All right.
Turning that frown upside down.
Yeehaw.
Let's talk about Extra Life 2020 and Extra Life 2019. Let's start with 2020. So Extra Life, as we said at the top of the show, is coming up.
What is this,
Saturday? Yeah, it's coming up Saturday, November 7th at 8 a.m. I thought we might go over what we're offering this year for Extra Life.
Alrighty.
We don't have a schedule yet. I can tell you that we're definitely going to be playing Fall Guys.
Oh, yeah.
For some amount of time. We're definitely going to be playing Overcooked 2 for some amount of time. We're definitely going to be playing Jackbox Party Pack for some amount of time.
100 emoji.
Probably Among Us, if I had to guess.
Where can you play Among Us besides mobile? Anywhere else?
Steam. That's where most people play it, is on Steam. That's where anyone that's streaming Among Us is playing it on Steam.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering how people are streaming it because I have not looked into it that much and just downloaded the app today on my phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are people getting... I know you can get stuff streamed from your phone, but you need like real specialized equipment, and I don't think people would invest in that for one thing.
Yeah, Steam.
Okay.
So we don't have a schedule yet. We'll probably put that out closer to game day once we figure out fully what we're going to do.
Sure.
But let's go over our milestones and incentives. So again, if you go to twitter.com/CDRMagnus, you can find the link to my Extra Life page there. You can also find it down below in the Twitch panels on twitch.tv/CDRMagnus. That'll take you to our Extra Life page where you can see all of this, and that's where you can donate as well. So our goal is to raise $1,000 again. We raised $1,000 last year thanks to all of you. Like to match that again. And along the way, we're going to give you stuff. So we got 4 milestones. Going to make it simpler this time with the milestones. In years past, we've done like 6 or 7 milestones.
Yeah, we went like almost every $100, and that was probably too much.
It's definitely too much, and it's hard to commit to like completing all of them, which is why we're going to talk about 2019 here in a minute. Especially in a world where we can't see each other. Like we went into Extra Life 2019 with the best of intentions. We wanted to do a cooking stream. We wanted to do a bunch of this stuff in person, but we can't because there's a fucking virus out there that's out to murder you. So we got 4 milestones this year.
Realistic milestones.
And they're all at the quartile level. So $250 get us to a quarter of our goal. And we are going to complete the Bob Ross trilogy.
It's a trilogy?
It's a trilogy, as we'll talk about again in a minute. It will be a trilogy. We'll do a third Bob Ross inspired The Joy of Microsoft Painting, where we will paint a classic video game scene in a way that only we could, poorly, and using Microsoft Paint. If we raise $500, John and I are going to start a new Let's Play series where we play our way through an entire game. Don't know what that game's going to be yet, but it'll be somewhat lengthy and story focused probably.
Sure.
Not going to be like just a bunch of sessions of Overwatch.
No.
It'll be something.
There'll be a point,
right.
I guess.
We'll put out it'll be a chronologically. We'll stream it obviously, and then we'll put those on YouTube. But it'll be a thing where if you want to watch us play through the entire game, you'll be able to do that.
Yes, it'll be. I guess to like clarify further, it'll be a game that has a definitive end.
Yes.
It will not be a multiplayer based game that you could just play forever. We're not going to play Fall Guys for 20 hours.
What if there is an end to Fall Guys? What if they're just like one day where like this is the last episode. This is it. Get your Fall Guys.
Can't be. That contradicts the lore. Fall Guys exist for one purpose. Are they dooming a species?
The inevitable heat death of the universe. None of us can escape that, John.
True. Not even a Fall Guy. Not even a little bean.
If we raise $750, we are going to do a 12-hour Overwatch stream at some point during Q1 2021.
A lot of Overwatch.
12 hours.
I am going to get burnt out. I will not play Overwatch for like a couple months after that, probably.
I kind of have like what I'm doing in my head already. Like I'm going to do 4 hours of each class. We're going to start out with like, maybe I'll do like an hour of each on and off. We'll see how it goes.
Sure.
Maybe we can even fuck around.
My first thought was like, oh man, I'm going to have to put some alcohol in some of my drinks throughout this.
See, that's another, like a 12-hour stream gives us so much more opportunity to be stupid because we can fuck around. We can even start later. We can start at like 10 a.m. We can play for 12 hours. We can get drunk. We can be stupid.
We will wait until like at least halfway through the stream, I'd imagine, because like 12 hours of being drunk also sounds like hell.
That does, yeah. That's a different kind of hell. Yeah. But 12 hours of Overwatch, you get that if we raise $750 with a bunch of shenanigans.
You could join us. You could play.
You could play with us. Again, there will be plenty of shenanigans. We'll maybe have like some kind of like meta game going on. Who knows? Sure. Then if we raise $1,000, we will do another 24-hour shenanigans filled stream sometime during Q2 of 2021 in the summertime.
I'm glad it's not the same quarter as
back to back. We'll do back-to-back days, just like 12 hours on a Saturday and then 24 hours on a Sunday. Take Monday off.
Woof.
So those are the 4 big milestones. 250 is a Bob Ross painting, Microsoft painting video. $500 is the Let's Play series. $750 is the 12-hour Overwatch stream, and then $1,000 is a 24-hour stream during the summer.
As they call it, the Electric Boogaloo, round 2.
That's not all, though. You can also there are many individual incentives for you to get involved this year. If you can donate anything to us, $5 is sort of the minimum to be involved with our incentives this year, but everything helps. $5 is more than enough if that's all you can contribute. Anything is very much appreciated. At $5, John will read your fortune using tarot cards.
I will have to set up some kind of, well, I don't really have to set up some kind of special camera. I could just hold them up to the camera, I suppose.
The plan with the tarot readings is that we do them as soon as we can on the stream itself.
Yes. Unlike last year where we just took down the names and, again, something we plan to do whenever I could come down to your place and, like, do some kind of more formalized setup. But then a pandemic started, so... Yeah. Too bad I wasn't reading before the pandemic started, then I might have been able to foresee this.
The only caveat to that is if we start getting a ridiculous number of donations. If we get hosted by, I don't know, somebody big and we get a big, who knows. Let's say we get like, in the span of a minute, we get like 50 tarot reading. We get $55 donations come in. Obviously, we're not going to spend the next hour and a half doing tarot readings.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're not super lengthy, but like, they do take a little bit of time.
Yes. So if that's the case, then we will start taking down names and making a standalone video after the fact. But the plan, at least at the start, and depending on, again, what our traffic looks like and what our donations look like, that'll be as soon as possible from the point you make the donation. Maybe we're in the middle of the game, we have to stop the game.
If it's like we're in the middle of an Overwatch match or something, we can't pause the internet.
Right. And if we quit, we lose SR and we lose ranking stuff. So
yeah, I guess I could just like just hit my WASD keys for a little bit, just so that I'm moving
back and forth.
Just doom the team, throw the match.
Yeah. Throwing. Lucio's throwing.
Lucio, why do you keep just riding the walls? We're down here.
At $10, here's where things get kind of good. Hopefully.
Oh boy.
You will receive one entry into a giveaway for a free code for a game on Steam. I have some of those codes now. I'm going to get a few more from Humble Bundle. Hopefully here. I don't know when those refresh. I don't know if the October one is out already. I haven't actually checked. So I need to look at Humble Bundle, see what's available this month, then maybe get some next month as well. But I want to have like 5 to 10 codes to give away at the $10 level. So there will be about 10 Steam games probably available. You receive one entry. You can only win one of those games. You can't win multiple. So just throw that out there.
Yes.
But there will be some Steam codes. At $20, you will receive one entry into a giveaway for a set of 2 Persona 5 Funko Pops. They're the 2 exclusive pops from GameStop that are in the Persona 5 box. There's a box that they sell. I don't know if you can still get it, but it comes with Joker in the Velvet Room when he's in the prison.
Yes.
Uniform with the chains. And then Arsene is also a pop that comes in that box. So you will get 2 of those 2 Funko Pops sent to you by USPS. Maybe I should put some kind of cap. I don't know what international. I guess I can ship it wherever. There might be some international restrictions on that. I don't know how this works really. If you live in the US, that'll be fine. I'm assuming most international would probably be fine too. I don't know if there's like weird custom stuff, especially with a pandemic, that might play havoc with that.
Yeah.
But I'll do my best.
I gotta ship these toys to this person.
Listen, they donated $10. They won, or $20. Yeah, $20. They won these. At $25, there's only one of those. There's only one. I only have the 2 act. I have both of them. I can give those away. I don't have multiple.
We don't have unlimited Funko Pops.
Right. So one person will get those 2 Funko Pops, and you get both of them. It's not like one person gets one and one gets the other. You get them as a set.
They're in one set box.
Yes. Then at the $25 level, if you donate at least $25, you will receive one entry into a giveaway for Persona 5 Royal in a steelbook case. I bought Persona 5 Royal, the Phantom Thieves edition or whatever the limited edition was called. But yes. I also, it came late.
Digitally.
I bought it digitally. I have never opened the case. The steelbook is still closed. I've not played it. It's sitting there. It's in the box right there. Like if you look, it's in that box right there. Just sitting in the box. It's not even on display. It's in the box. So someone should probably play that. I'm just hoarding it, doing nothing with it. So if you want
$60 game.
$60 game,
unless it's on sale.
Probably.
But still.
Game of the year.
Relatively new game. That's full price.
In a limited edition steelbook case. So if you like steelbooks, there you go. $25 gets you entered into that. At $100, you'll receive a producer credit for all of 2021 for a QuickTime event. $200 is an executive producer credit for a QuickTime event for all of 2021. And if you donate $250, you will get a chance to co-host the QuickTime event podcast with John and I sometime next year as well. There are a limit of 12 of those. So if you donate $250, it's the first 12 people that donate $250 if we get multiple or any of those.
Which I don't think we have historically gotten.
I don't believe so. But you could be the first.
It could be the first year, yeah.
Again, I don't want to throw out any, like maybe we get hosted by somebody big and then it's all of a sudden we get donations coming in.
Yeah.
Like that would be pretty top, especially for the kids. at Nationwide Children's Hospital. But there's only 12 of those available because there's 52 weeks in a year, right?
Yeah, it would be one a month.
Basically one a month. That's what my thought was.
And with scheduling conflicts and stuff like that, anything more than one a month sounds like it would would be a big disaster.
Yep. So that's the thought process there. So there's 12 of those. Those do stack. So if you donate $250 to be a co-host on QuickTime Event, you will get to co-host QuickTime Event. You'll get to be the executive producer on all of the credits for 2021 for all of the shows that we do. Then you will also get one entry for the Steelbook case, one entry for the Funko Pops, one entry for the Steam codes, and you'll get a tarot reading as well.
Should we start reading, like, I don't know if we want to do a pre-recorded thing, but like actually put the names, like say them at the end of each episode for like the audio listeners who might not.
Yeah.
Because I know that they scroll on the actual Twitch stream at the end of the show.
Yes.
But I'm thinking about the people who just listen. Like I feel like most people probably consume this via audio format, who I don't think.
Yeah. My thought is, we could definitely read them at the end of the show. And then my thought is also putting them in the show description as well.
Sure.
So when you go to download the podcast, it'll be in there.
Yeah. Just more visibility to your name.
Yep. So those are the incentives for the Extra Life Marathon. We got less than a month from now before this happens. If you have any
my sleep.
Yeah. If you have any thoughts on that, if you have any suggestions for games for John and I to play, please let us know. Probably multiplayer specifically is what we're looking for. Hopefully stuff that like we can get people to play along with. We've had the most success in Extra Life when we can play along with viewers.
Yes, Jackbox specifically has been primo, I'd say.
Yeah.
Probably the most consistent and getting people to stay. Actually participate.
Definitely.
Sure.
Yeah, because again, they get to participate. The other thing that I think that's a big part of why I think Among Us would be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can play with, I think, up to 10 people with that game.
Yes. Yep, you can. Confirmed.
So that would be games like that. Any good idea there? Preferably, I mean, Among Us is free on mobile, but it's only $5, I think, on Steam. So that's not a big barrier to entry for a lot of people.
And honestly, if you have, and I don't know how, is there crossplay between mobile and Steam? I assume there is.
Maybe. I don't think so, though.
It's such a simple game. If Fortnite can do it, this game should be able to. But I know that if you buy the ad-free version for $1.99, at least on the iTunes store, and you host, nobody else has to deal with ads. Like if the host has the paid-for version, nobody has to watch the ads at the end of each match.
That's good to know.
So I assume that if one of us hosts on Steam and people can join from mobile, that would carry true because we would have bought it.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, that's Extra Life 2020 coming up here in a month. Join us for a 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
Now Extra Life 2019. There's stuff we got to do before Extra Life 2020. We got to do this stuff before.
Yep.
Before
we have 1 month.
We get even more stuff to do.
We have 1 month.
So
I'd like to clear this before we have more.
My thought is that we just do a 4-hour stream. My streams are about 4 hours usually like 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. like 8 p.m. to midnight is when I typically stream. That's more than enough time to do Joy of Microsoft Painting video, which typically that
took about an hour.
Our last one I think was like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's going to take me 5 minutes to eat some natto.
Oh, but what about the after effects?
I kind of feel like I'm going to like it.
Oh.
Getting closer to it, or like just having it in the back of my head, I kind of feel like I'm going to like it. I feel like it's one of those things that just stinks. And then when you actually try it, it's like, oh, it's actually pretty good.
Maybe I'll try to get some too, and then we can both eat it, because I've never had it. and I feel like I would really not like it.
What's the girl's name in Gintama? The one that is obsessed with
the
Ginchan.
ninja.
Yeah.
The ninja girl.
Who has the Nato?
I think it starts with an S, but I can't remember.
I can never remember. Anyway. Sticky, slimy beans. I feel like I'm going to like it. And then it's just going to be like, oh, well, that was pretty good. Guess I like Nato now. Hey, that'll take 5 minutes.
I think.
Sounds right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tarot readings to do. Which will take an hour.
No,
probably
it's not
20 minutes.
Per...
20,
yeah,
maybe 20, 30 minutes.
It'll be a couple minutes for each.
Okay. And then the last thing that we have to do is a cooking stream. That's obviously not going to happen in real life. So there's a game on Steam called Cooking Simulator. And I thought we could do a Let's Play of that instead. Very similar to how in our first year we said, okay, we're going to do a painting stream. And then we decided to do it digitally with Microsoft Paint. Why don't we do a cooking stream that is with a cooking simulator game?
That makes sense.
So I thought we could do those 4 things just in the course of a normal stream. It doesn't have to be at night. Like we could do it Saturday during the day or Sunday during the day. Sure. And then obviously that'll be up on YouTube for everybody as well.
Yes.
So that's my thought.
Okay.
That's I'm everything from 2018 is just doesn't exist anymore.
Sad.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to my Apple Watch telling me my heart rate as we played a scary game.
Yeah, we're gonna get caught up on 2019.
Maybe eventually we will venture back into 2018 and try to.
Maybe that might be. Maybe we'll do something like a longer a horror game. Maybe for the Let's Play series.
It's our Let's Play.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like Resident Evil or who knows.
Oh man,
we'll see. We'll see.
Honestly, I shouldn't have played Hellblade.
Yeah, that'd been a good one.
That was
a little short though.
Yeah, you're right. If it's a full-fledged Let's Play series, not just like a single stream.
So look for that. I don't know what John. Well, I'll get with John after the podcast and look look on Twitter. Look on twitter.com/CDRMagnus
or follow me because I retweet all this shit.
Yes, John Kamenko on Twitter. Look for information on when that's going to happen. It'll probably be either this weekend or next weekend. 4-hour stream-ish with all of our Extra Life goals that we failed to be able to do. Thanks to COVID. But we're going to wrap all that up in the Extra Life 2020 coming up here in November.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order?
No, I think we're good.
Thank you for hanging out. We will see you all next week.
Bye-bye.